Greetings all and welcome back. Just Playing Crypto. Today we're going to talk a little bit about the freedom aspect, the sovereignty aspect, the what crypto is all about, and the ideal situation. The crypto idealist, you should call me. I should change the name of the channel. Crypto idealist. And talk about the SEC, some of the government fights that are going on, and talking about LBRY and Odysee. But first, of course, we'll take a look at the markets for today. Everything's good. There you go. It's all green. Notables of today. Cardano was up 12.8% on the 24-hour. Pretty notable. Otherwise, everything else is up like 5%. Bitcoin, Ethereum, yeah, 5% is kind of the medium. The standouts are Cardano. And looky here. Looky old Polkadot is up 11.95%. What was that on my dollar cost averaging 2 days ago? Was Polkadot was where my dollar cost average money would go. And that's where my dollar cost averaging did go. Unfortunately today, after it already raised, after the price already went up. But hey, it's dollar cost averaging. I had money that I needed to put in the market, and that's when it was available. So I had to get in at like $25, $26 instead of $23 or $22 or whatever it was just this morning. But I picked it right, so I am happy about that, and happy for anybody else who may have followed that on seen my dollar cost averaging video and made a similar play. All right, so congratulations there to anybody who's making profits. Solana, expecting it to crash, right? We're expecting like a 10-15% down after being, up 70-80% over the last week. You kind of expect a 15 to 20% pullback, and they're at 1% pullback. So maybe she'll just keep on going up. Hope so for everybody out there who has Solana, myself included. Other than that, Uniswap is up. Internet Computer, ICP, as I like to call New World Order coin. That's what I call it. They're up 20%. They're at $69.46. And I remember when they came on the scene, they shot up to like $250 or $300. It was ridiculous. And now they're sitting down here at $70. So I don't know what's up with them. I read their papers and I don't like them. I don't like them. But they're up, so if you have them, you're doing good. VeChain, bet, is up 11%. A lot of people like that. I think I mentioned Theta in my last video about market cap and such, and what I really meant to say was VeChain. It was VeChain I was talking about, where it was worth a couple of pennies, and it couldn't realistically go up to $5, because if you look at the outstanding coins, you'd have like $100 trillion market cap. As an example. So anyone who caught me there and caught my mistake, we're correcting it now. Aave, a lot of people like that. I don't personally own any, but it's up 10%. So that is the market. So we're going to get into the topic of the title of the thing. SEC sues LBRY for $11 million in unregistered securities complaint. Now, $11 million is like peanuts. It's literally peanuts. But again, you have a situation where there is no rules in cryptocurrency. This is 5 years ago that they said they did this. There is no rules in cryptocurrency. And again, you've got proof of work, where you have computers guessing computer algorithms to try and build your blocks to make your blockchain. And then you have proof of stake, where you just poof a bunch of coins into existence and start selling them. The SEC, as of Gary Gensler right now, basically considers almost anything that is proof of stake to be a security. That'll never fly, but you understand the government wants to get their cut, right? That's how all this is. What always happens when an SEC sues a crypto corporation, crypto company, whatever, it comes down to a fine, and don't do that again. Don't do that again. Give us our $5 million, and then don't do that again. And then the company continues on like normal. It's just what happens over and over and over and over again. But what you're coming to find out is the SEC is going after things like XRP where the XRP is, people have tried, regardless of what I think of XRP or anybody else, the XRP has tried to work with the SEC to get some guidelines and rules as to, well, if I'm not doing this right, what should I be doing instead? And there has been nothing from the SEC to tell them what they're supposed to do and how to be lawful. And so they just continue going about their business. They're not going to stop going about their business if the SEC is not telling them to stop doing anything. The same thing here is with LBRY, where LBRY has been talking to the SEC for years also, where the SEC says, we don't really like the way that you did this. And LBRY is like, well, what should we do? What do you want us to do? What's the proper way to go about doing the business that we're doing? Right? And they get no feedback, and all of a sudden, out of the blue, the SEC files a lawsuit, and exchanges pull the tokens, the coins, whatever, off their exchanges, and you can no longer trade them. And that is how it goes. And usually crypto places will settle out of court, and then they can go back to business as usual, doing the exact same thing that the SEC said that what they had a problem with. It's all just about the government getting their cut. Okay, but what I have noticed is very specific crypto entities that are getting the wrath of the SEC. And, you know, this is something that needs to be brought to the forefront, particularly with LBRY, because LBRY, for people who don't know what it is, I mean, XRP is just a digital banking thing. And you're gonna get the wrath of the government because you are trying to take market share from the people who run all the money, right? If you're Rockefeller, Rothschilds, why would you have a competitor in your bank and use somebody else's stuff? They're a competitor. So obviously the government is going to have a problem with that. And that's what XRP was trying to do. They wanted to be in all the banks and be used as a payment processing for countries and things to go cross-border payments. And that's what they were trying to do. So yeah, the SEC wants to kick them out. And now LBRY, what LBRY does is you have your YouTube, and you have your BitChute, and you have your Vimeo, and you have all these different platforms for doing video stuff. Odysee is the main interface, right? Interface for this. It looks a lot like YouTube. I use it myself. I have several channels. They upload to Odysee, and Odysee for people who put up content, regardless if you're a big guy or not, big name out there, if you're MSNBC or just some guy, right? The more people that watch your stuff, the more you get paid in their LBRY coin. And advertisers, when they want to advertise, I guess they pay LBRY coins or something. They purchase advertising revenue, and that gets sent into like a LBRY pool or something that goes to the people. And as you earn LBRY tokens, you can go into a video. For instance, this guy who helped save LBRY crypto. I don't feel bad about pirating Nintendo. Yay. So you see down here, he's earned 15 LBRY credits on his video. And if you want, you can hit the little fire button and use some of your own LBRY credits that you earn from watching as well. Not just the content creators, you earn from watching. It's a participation system. That's how LBRY works. And that is the ecosystem. Now, obviously, it's going to be a very centralized ecosystem when you get started, because you need to create the coins and you need to build revenue. And as the system grows, it becomes less and less centralized. What happens here, and that's with the LBRY and talking about the company for LBRY, the back end. Odysee is the front end, which pretty much makes the user interface. But on the back end, LBRY, they're storing videos on the blockchain, not the actual videos themselves, but they're storing the reference indexes to the videos that are on Odysee and LBRY, referencing it to the blockchain, so they can never be taken down by anybody. They have some things that are like DCMA requests. What they do is they ding the video so hard that it, like you, if you're, it actually costs monetization or something when you, if you say you put up a movie or something on LBRY, they have it such that they can take it down, but they can make it where it actually costs prohibitive for somebody to do pirated content like that, right? So it's kind of a weeding out the bad actors sort of a thing. But if you wanted to talk about something that, say, YouTube doesn't like or Facebook or whatever, you can do that on LBRY without any fear of it getting taken down or your channel getting blackballed. It's a very, very important tool to a YouTube creator. The other great thing about Odysee is if you upload something to YouTube, it automatically backs your channel up, which is a great thing. And then people watch it, and you get some little LBRY tokens. I've been on Odysee for about a year, and I think I've only got like 200 LBRY credits or something. I mean, obviously you don't have the traffic as YouTube, but my stuff is never going to go away. Okay, it's always going to be on the internet, always going to be searchable, always going to be there. You can't say that about YouTube. You never know what they're going to flag next month, what the new taboo thing you can't talk about is on YouTube. And hey, it's a great tool for the freedom of speech people out there and for decentralization. Now, what I have to say about the SEC and coming after LBRY, you're talking about peanuts. $11 million that they raised by selling LBRY tokens is nothing. Why are they going after LBRY? Now, XRP is doing something, right? I mean, a couple of banks use their software. They purchased MoneyGram, and they use Ripple software. It is actually actively doing something. LBRY is actually doing something, building an entire network for decentralized platform for videos. Why go after people that are actually doing something, obviously, with the money that they are raising by selling their tokens? The answer is because they don't like what they're doing. Because there is hundreds, if not thousands, of pump and dump scam coins out there. Why isn't the SEC going after any of them? Because they don't do anything. They just sit there and they're a meme coin, Shiba Inu, right? They're just a meme. Well, why is the SEC not going after the creator of that coin? Oh, because he doesn't run a company and nobody knows who he is or nobody knows where to find the guy. The big problem that these companies have is that they're trying to do things the right way. And let me tell you, when you're dealing with government, it's like, you have the right to remain silent, and that's what you should use all the time. Because anytime you talk to these agencies, they're just going to use everything against you. Ripple was in talks with the SEC for 5 years. LBRY was in talks with the SEC for 3 years. Any point in there, the SEC could have told them what they needed to do to be okay. But no, they were just gathering information until they had enough to where they could sue them. Because that's what the government does. Right to remain silent. Now, anybody who's doing blockchain stuff, I just wouldn't do it in America. But if you're doing what LBRY is doing, you're basing your company around the freedom of speech and freedom of expression. So you kind of have to be in America. And it's just sad that this happened because if you don't have freedom of speech, you really don't have anything, right? And you can't be hoodwinked and you can't be manipulated if there's freedom of speech. If your freedom of speech is locked down, it's all over. It's all over for everybody. And it doesn't really matter how much you have, how much money, how much whatever. You get where you don't have a freedom of speech, and they'll do that by having free speech, but you'll have a social credit score. And you just wait for the central bank digital currencies to roll out. You'll be charged taxes for giving allowance to your kids every week. And then you'll have your accounts turned off because the kid said something on Facebook that government didn't like and the computer flags you. You just wait and see. This is why decentralization is so important. So very, very important. And so with LBRY, what happened with LBRY? I haven't heard anybody talk about it to the point where I didn't even know until looking it up the other day because I was going to buy some LBRY credits because I like to purchase things that I will support the technology, not because I'm going to make any money, right? I'm invested in a couple of things that I know will never make any money. Granted, it's not very much, like less than $100, right? But still, it's important to do. Now, this is their chart where, during our little beginning of the year little bull phase, LBRY went up to around 30 cents. And with the rest of the market, when the rest of the market tanked by 40, 50%, LBRY also did. And then the SEC came out with their lawsuit and tank them all the way down from 30 cents all the way down to a tenth of a cent, tenth of a penny. Now, that's very suspect because there isn't a ton of LBRY credits out there. You know, there's like a 500 million tokens, and I think it's a max supply of 1 billion. Unless everybody who had viewed videos and had tokens, and every content creator all simultaneously at the same time sold all of their LBRY credits, which is a pain. Let me tell you guys, it's a pain. That's why I never bought any LBRY credits, is because it's a pain to try and go through all these different exchanges to get. Unless everybody sold all their stuff, there is no justification for it to going down to a tenth of a penny. It's almost as if somebody is buying LBRY and selling it, right? Because that would take funding away from them to fight the SEC case and get LBRY shut down. You can't have free speech, especially when you have things like, you know, Afghanistan, and you have things like, you know, a certain sniffle going around. We can't have free speech. We got to shut them down. So what I am suggesting, guys, is for people out there who want to support free speech, is perhaps you want to jump through some hoops. And let me tell you, if LBRY survives, which I think they will, I think the SEC will find them. I mean, how much can you fine LBRY for supposedly raising $11 million on LBRY tokens? What are you going to fine them? $11 million is like nothing. When you're talking in the world of crypto and big business and finance, I mean, you're going to charge them $100 million for their $11 million fine? I don't know. We'll just have to see. But I think that LBRY will come out on the other side. And if it's not LBRY, and if it's not the guy who runs LBRY, it would be somebody else who would take over the reins for him. And going from a tenth of a cent, I think right now it's a half a cent. Okay, so right now LBRY is a half a cent. And if you look at the chart, it was incredibly stable after the crash at about 10 cents. Okay, so you can 20x your money if you put in $100, right? And it goes to 10 cents. They make it through the SEC lawsuit, and who knows how long that takes. Granted, it could be years, right? But you buy in at a half a penny, and this LBRY is doing stuff. It's good technology, and I don't see any reason that it couldn't go up to a dime. That's my personal opinion on it. So just making people aware of anyone, and like, again, it's not being sold as a money-making idea here. Not a grand master plan for that. It's about helping out a company that is providing a free speech platform for creators such as myself to use, especially ones like me who like to run their mouth a little bit about certain topics. It's a very, very, very valuable thing to the people in America and the people of the world. Okay. The people of the world. My personal opinion, not investment advice, blah, 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 blah. So anyways, you look up like what a security is. And essentially, if you sell something with an if you make up a coin out of thin air, like Vitaly Buterin, and then you sell it to people saying someday that's going to be worth a lot of money, right? And you just give me a little bit for it now, and it's going to be worth billions. You're promising an expectation of a huge return off the investment money. Corporations do this with stocks, okay? They invent stocks out of thin air, which represents a small piece of their company, and they say, well, as we get bigger, you'll get a return on investment. That's a security. You can very much look at crypto that is a proof of stake, poofed in out of thin air with no work, no mining, no nothing, that it operates the same way. I understand where they're getting with that. A proof of work, you can argue, even if you pre-mined, you can argue that, well, it took work for the computer, it cost electricity, it cost processing power to make these coins, so they are inherently valuable. Okay, that's a proof of work system, and why the SEC is leaving it alone. Proof of stake is I poofed it into thin air out of nothing. And that is the difference there. So I get it, but why is the SEC targeting free speech platforms? I wanted to go back to this. Right here, it says the SEC is also going after some other people. And if you look down at the bottom, it says other efforts were against Telegram. What is the problem with Telegram? It is a free speech platform that is decentralized and encrypted to where no one can really crack it. And you can't spy on people in Telegram. It's a Facebook/Twitter thing all in a little app that people can share whatever they want to, and they're not going to get blocked or banned. So we have to go after Telegram. We have to go after Ripple. Well, Ripple's trying to be the Federal Reserve. So yeah, the Federal Reserve and the government's not going to like that. I don't know what Kick Interactive is, but I would expect it's something, doing something similar. Again, the idealist crypto theology, we'll say, is that you want decentralization, you want financial independence, and you want freedom. That's what a lot of these coins are about, because it's actually feasible now. If everybody is bound by Federal Reserve notes, that are 100% controlled, poofed out of thin air by the Federal Reserve and the Rothschilds and all that stuff, you can never really get ahead. Okay, you can get as far as you can get until the government notices you and takes all your stuff away. All right, with crypto, there is a little safe haven island out there. And with LBRY, you have free speech, and with Telegram, you have free speech. They introduced a central bank digital coin that is attached to a social credit score, like what China has. Well, you're just going to use Telegram because nobody knows who you are. It's anonymous. It's encrypted. Well, they ain't not going to like that. Get the SEC out there to break their legs. So that's what's going on with that stuff and what the SEC's whole idea is with their thing. So anyways, LBRY is at 0.5 cent. It was at 30 cents. It was actually at $1 all-time high, but that was kind of unrealistic. So 39 cents is its peak high. But averaging around 25 to 30 cents was where it was when the market was doing so-so, right? But a really good, solid line for it was around the 10-cent mark. And right now it's at 0.5 penny. Long-term investment, if they can hold against the SEC, is looking pretty good. So where do you actually get LBRY tokens? Well, if you go and use the site CoinMarketCap, tells you kind of the synopsis. Jeremy Kauffman is the guy who runs it. The synopsis of what the coin is and what it does, what niche it's trying to fill. And also at the bottom, it tells you the market. So any coin that you're looking at and you don't know where to get it, you go to CoinMarketCap and it tells you these different places you can get it. Now, coins like this, the ones that are ranked below like 150 or something on the list of total market cap, you typically are going to have to use a decentralized exchange where you're trading Bitcoin primarily for all of these different things. And that's another reason that I didn't buy any LBRYs, because I don't want to trade Bitcoin. Why would I trade my Bitcoin for something? But they will do it. So we have some exchanges here you can go to, and I think I picked Coindex. Yeah, Coindex. This is what, for people who are unfamiliar with what an exchange looks like that they're not using Coinbase, this is what Coinbase Pro would look like, right? Where you can see the buying and the selling action and what's going on with everything. And it's like, there is a tremendous amount of selling for the LBRY token when it's worth 1/4 to 1/2 penny. Why would people, if you had, 10,000 LBRY coins, why would you sell them at 1/4 penny? Doesn't make any sense. Granted, people are kind of dumb, so they would probably do it, but a whole bunch of sell pressure down that low, I cry foul on that. My own personal opinion, that somebody is trying to take all the funding away from LBRY so it tanks. And you know what? If LBRY goes down, Odysee is still there to search all the stuff. So you can't really ever take any video posted on LBRY Odysee down, even if LBRY goes out of business, because the chain exists on the internet. Yeah, so As we can see on the trading here, actually, there's a whole bunch of people buying. Oh, it just flipped back. Anyways, the price is going up. So there's some counteraction and some people who are actually reading into this. What I also read into it is that the price is being artificially put down because of the lawsuit, and artificially by the big players who want LBRY to go away. And people are taking it a high-risk gamble. Okay, it is a high-risk gamble, but the payoff, if it goes to 10 cents, is 20x. That's a pretty high payout, you know, $50 in there, right? This is Jeremy Kauffman over here. He's the guy who runs it. I've seen a few interviews with him where he talks about it, and he is an idealist. He's a crypto idealist who's like, I want a free network that everyone can participate in, and everyone feels like they're a part of it because they're all earning credits, you know, participation points, whatever you want to, and everyone kind of gets paid and all this stuff. And, you know, obviously at the end of the day, he wants a big network empire so he can buy his yacht. Okay, but he deserves a yacht if he gets all this stuff put together. You understand? He deserves the yacht. Yeah, he could have easily made a centralized network. Anyways, it's decentralized, and in here it talks about how his biggest mistake was actually talking with the SEC and trying to be open about what they're doing and asking questions about how they should conduct their business, and the SEC wouldn't tell him anything. Brad Garlinghouse said the same thing, is the worst decision we made was to actually try and work with the SEC to fix things. Because, yeah, you're better off remaining silent and making the SEC spend the money to come after you than you are trying to open all your books up so they can find something, find a reason to come after you. It's really, really sad. So that is what's going on with the SEC, and there's going to be a lot more suits because the old Gary Gensler wants to say everything regarding cryptocurrency should be under the authority of the SEC, and it's like, well, good luck with that. Good luck. I don't know. I'm sure they're going to do something because they need to find a whole bunch of money, and they can't have their slaves making millions of dollars on Dogecoin. That can't happen. People can't have a safety life raft to escape inflation and escape their crumbling Federal Reserve System. Can't have that. So they'll try their mightiest to go out and come after everything. But the great thing about the blockchain is, you know, even if you want to shut down LBRY and shut down Odysee, that infrastructure in the chain already exists. Okay? As long as people keep the nodes running, it's gonna be there. Yeah. Wherever you can, invest in decentralization. Decentralization. Centralization, you're just walking into a slave trap, right? Walking into a slave trap. And with that is SEC and LBRY and what's going on in XRP and all that stuff is just, you're going to see a lot of it, like I said, with Gary Gensler in there, who thinks everything is a security. Everything crypto is a security. That's what he thinks. And good luck with that, Gary. Good luck with that. Go with that, guys. Crypto freedom, crypto idealism, decentralization, and when you can, make a good chunk of change in profit. Right? Until next time, guys. We'll see you later.